So now maximum talking point is happening how we can really use the AI, how we can really use the Gen AI, how we can adopt that particular process. So with that buzz will be there, but definitely sustainability is one of the important factors.
Hello and welcome to the Retail Podcast.
We're going to have a deep dive with one of the leaders in retail in helping retailers achieve their outcomes. I'm fortunate enough to be joined by Abhijit Niyogi from TCS, who's Vice President for Retail across UK, EMEA and India. So Abhijit, why don't we start with, as always, tell us what you do, what your focus area is. And then right now, because obviously being vice president, you must meet so many retailers. What's top of mind for 2025?
Absolutely. Thanks, Alex. And thanks for giving me this opportunity to participate in your podcast. I've been in TCS for last 30 years. It's a quite long journey and spent out 15 years in the States. Then in last 10 years, I am based out of London. Almost last 12 years, I have been involving in the retail in various different roles. Specifically, right now, I look after the overall business of the retail, as you said, in the UK, Europe, and EMEA in that particular market, including the India geography. So, which is a quite diverse geography. And definitely I meet, as per my role, various different CXO, and I go and attend and meet the customer. Oh, and as you know that shift in the retail pre-pandemic and there's a post-pandemic era, right? So pre-pandemic used to be quite different than what we see in the post-pandemic. But what I am right now seeing since in the beginning of 2024, probably initially we thought after when we came out of pandemic that maybe online will take a big leap in terms of the retail, and the store brick and mortar format will probably shrink down. But surprisingly, it actually came back quite heavily at the start of 2024. The brick and mortar shopping again quite heavily it came out. Okay, and now I'm seeing every retailers, they are spending huge amount of money in terms of the store transformation. So there's a huge store transformation is happening across the board, whether mainly in terms of the pricing, promotions, availability, in terms of merchandising, putting the right things in the right place, and more importantly, the customer experience. Because customer experience is one of the key important factor, and it is ever changing. Because even if I compare myself when I and my kids who are going and shopping, whether be it online or in store, the perspective of that outlook of the customer, is quite dramatically is changing and shifting. So I think 2025. Every retailer is having the biggest focus how they can adopt that change in nature and how they are in a much more agile in terms of making those changes, because you can't have a 2-year transformation strategy and by the end of you will see maybe a year one transformation things got changed, right? So we don't have that luxury anymore that okay, we launch a big transformation program. So 2025 and probably beyond the next 3 years, people are looking for how we can be much more faster doing these changes, whether be it in a supply chain, whether be it in merchandising, whether it's pricing, promotion, customer loyalty, anything that, okay, you can name it. So adopting that change is what is going to drive the strategy.
Yeah, well, I mean, just picking up on a couple of themes that you've spoken about there. In terms of pricing pressure and value-driven commerce, obviously inflation has had a massive impact on the consumer and on retailers. I was just curious if you had seen examples of how brands are using advanced pricing and agile supply chains to sort of get the right balance between competitive pricing and profitability.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you look at, you take the food groceries retailers, right? So they operate in very thin margin, right? So if they are not super efficient in terms of their supply chain, and with the pressure of all this geopolitical pressure, you have seen the war situation in the Europe, and inflation was quite high, even though right now it tapered down. But last 2-3 years, people really focused in terms of the improving their operational efficiency to the supply chain. Whether if you have an end-to-end visibility right from your sourcing to your putting into the stores, there's a huge improvement areas are there for every retailers, matter of fact, right? So every retailers spend right now quite a bit of money in last 2 3 years, and continuously evolving with the AI, with different technologies, and it has to be super efficient, and that helps driving their cost down, which will help them for at least the commodity of the goods to have a reasonable price for the people and the consumer. So that's one part of the process, which was there earlier as well, but it is more important right now that okay, you have to operate into your supply chain process in a much more efficient manner. The second thing which also and you touched upon is the pricing efficiency and the and what level of the right price at the right time that you can push it to your shelf, right? So it has multiple different components. In just very high level, are you pricing at the right point based on your localization, based on your availability, based on your market competitiveness in other dense region? And that intelligence and the dynamic pricing, what we call it, is very, very important. And that is where a lot of technology, a lot of algorithm, a lot of innovations are happening to have you using your data set, using your geo landscape, using your customer demographics, using your need of the supply chain. Can you really have that pricing at the right price point? Now, then the third component, yes, you may have the price point right. Can I push that price right now in a much more seamless manner to each of the shelf, right? Earlier in old days, used to be like, okay, you do a big thick paper process and then you send it to the store and they'll go through the level and then they will change it, right? So right now, those things got completely changed. And that is where the digital innovations are happening, whether electronic shopping level or other things, so that you can just push your pricing, then and there. So these are the whole different areas in 3 or 4 different segments. That is what is happening.
Okay. I'm just curious in terms of your experience of trying to help retailers with that. What do you think are some of what good examples have you seen of this? Or are people still building it?
Yeah, I should say that, some retailers already adopted the process, whoever started this journey probably 3 to 4 years back. And some retailers, in the process of doing it. Okay, so they are a little bit doing a cost benefit analysis. For a very good example, like if you go to Germany, and if you go to the biggest retailer there, they have already adopted the ESL process. Okay, so if I visited just in the Nordics, some retailers already adopted. If you go to the US also, probably a lot of retailers adopted that. So the adoption process, what you see, like it obviously depends on your strategy and the business strategy and what the ROI that you wanted to make it, right? And in some retailers, they may not feel that okay, their price change is so dynamic. So the things are where the ESL will work. Just for an example, I'm telling you, where you feel like okay, you need to change your price quite frequently so that you can get advantage of it, right? The competitive advantage. But in contrary to that, where you think that okay, your price is more or less constant in a week time, okay, and you don't need that advantage or the price advantage is there, then you may not implement those digital shelf level, right? So these are the different use cases based on which I think retailers are doing it. But finding out the right price and the price optimization is every retailer, they need it. Okay, so it doesn't matter whether it's a small retailer versus large retailer, whether groceries versus apparel versus electronics, everyone need that right pricing and the strategy. I think that is where we are helping as a TCS. We have some unique, capability in the product, which is working well, and quite a lot of customers are having that traction in terms of do we have the right, because everyone is having data, right? So everyone is having lots of data. Are we using the right data at the right time to come up with the right price? So that's where I think the fun is there, that okay, how we can use technology, how we can use algorithms, how we can use AI driven, technologies to really come up with those intelligent pricing, what we call it.
I got you. How are CMOs seeing ROI from influencer-led retail strategies? I mean, is that something that you can help or you're observing with the CMO part or the marketing part of the business?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, there's a traditional term is the retail media network. I'm sure that, a lot of people are interested in it. A lot of retailers are using that RMN as one of their, kind of strategy, and they can, definitely create a good campaign out of it. But obviously the Gen Z kind of category who are influenced by, as you said rightly, that okay, who are influenced by several different of these push and pricing and how the sentiment, even others, right? So how you can even look at socially that okay, how it is happening, right? So connecting those different bits and pieces people are trying, but I have not seen this at the enterprise level in every retailers across the board, by the way. But
No.
obviously, that is one of the area which some of the CMOs are thinking. Some of the large retailers are using it. Okay, but it is not in general that every retailer is having that strategy.
Yeah, yeah. There's a couple of things, obviously, from past experience that I see with demand pricing or elastic pricing. How can you deliver on that if you need free prices during the day, but you don't have electric shelf labels, or you're dependent on staff to manually go and reprice things? But anyway, that's a conversation for another day. In terms of omnichannel and fulfillment innovation, when we look at retailers redesigning store layouts to be sort of mini fulfillment centers, how is transforming the customer experience, and what role does AI analytics play in fulfillment, sort of seamlessly across digital and physical touch points?
Yeah, I think definitely that is one of the area. A lot of innovation and inventions are going on, right? So a true omni-channel experience every retailer wanted to implement, and in that, people are buying online, shipping from store, or you can buy online, pick up from store. So all those different transformation is going on, and if you look at least even in the UK market, I've seen in the Middle East as well, they are really changing the store layout. If you walk in the store and you have to have a seamless experience, not only just for your shopping experience, but also your checkout experience. You have seen that, okay, how the checkout is really doing the evolution, right? So over the traditional, till checkout versus self checkout versus walk in, walk out, those type of checkouts. And you can pick up that particular part in a seamless manner. I think various different, to do that efficiently, there are 2-3 again things in why we are helping. One is obviously you need to have a true omni-channel experience in terms of your order fulfillment, right? So it has to be seamless integration between your whatever backend system that they use, so that the informations are readily available. And that is where the AI and the data-driven analytics is helping. And then when you walk in the store, it also sometimes, I have seen, not probably in the apparel, but any other sector in the home improvement area, you may bought say 5 items. You went to the store and you wanted to pick up. A store colleague will also come to you. Oh, by the way, you forgot. I know that you placed this particular order, and you may need these 2 additional items for you to probably what you are buying. Okay, so you can even top up your basket. You can add few items seamlessly, and you can give that particular experience back to the customer. I think that is really, customers are, is a wow factor that they are getting it. Now, to do that, you ask that, okay, how the technology is helping. So that is where I think the technology is helping immensely, and that insight of your actual a persona driven experience is what is the aim. So the personalization is one of the big factor, in the retail, right? So can I really go into the personalization when you walk in the store, or even you do online shopping, so that you have that seamless experience? Who am I when I am doing the shopping, right? So that is where the lot of innovation is going on, and the technology is really helping them.
I got you. Final question: sustainability as a competitive advantage. Obviously, in Europe, the US and Europe very different in their approach to sustainability, and we've just seen from the new leader what they're doing over there. But consumers, specifically within this market, are demanding greater sustainability in retail. How are brands integrating circular economy principles, or green logistics, or eco-friendly products into their business models? And do you think regulatory pressure will change or speed this up?
Yeah, absolutely. See, if I compare, obviously 3 different market, I'm seeing it. Europe is way ahead right now, right? So absolutely, they adopted the process, their ESG standard. Some retailers are really proud about. If you go to the Nordics, they have the circle, whole concept. They started 2-3 years back, and they adopted it. And in fact, if you look at it, the Gen Z, category, they are very much, what we call is a conscious about what they buy, right? So they are also looking at it. Are these products really, kind of made up from the sustainable goods? Okay. Yeah. Is there way that, okay, that I can contribute also to that particular cost? So there's a lot of focus is there in the Europe, and obviously there are a lot of regulations are there, okay, which I'm sure that, things are, people will fall into the place. In UK also, there's a good kind of measure is there in terms of, using the sustainable sourcing of the product, they declared that part of the sustainable product, and people, I'm seeing that people are buying that, even if that increase your price point in a overall matter of the game, right? So it is actually people are adopting that particular process. Obviously in other market is little different, as you said. Okay, so we'll watch and see. But sustainable retailing is one of the big focuses there. It was actually the boardroom topic. Last 1 year, I have not seen so much in the boardroom topic for the sustainability in an honest manner. But as because maybe that they have already adopted the process and it is BAU, right? And or maybe in certain geography, it may not be that much pressure from a regulation probably is driving, right? So now maximum talking point is happening, how we can really use the AI, how we can really use the Gen AI, how we can adopt that particular process. Probably that buzz will be there, but definitely sustainability is one of the important factors.
Fantastic. Abhijit, thank you so much for giving up your time from the other side of the world. I look forward to maybe seeing you at one of the conferences in the UK or in globally. But thank you.
Thanks, Alex. Thanks for your time as well. Thank you.